Today, we're going to find out whether games from 100 years ago
Are they still worth playing?
or are they better left
Lost in the shuffle.
Greetings, gamer fans, and welcome to the first half of a special two-part episode where we are going to put antique games, specifically board games from the years 1900 through 1925, and put them head-to-head to find out which one comes out on top as the #1 top antique board game.
Tournament style.
Tournament style.
It's exciting.
We're going to introduce the 16 competitors.
Yeah.
And next time, we'll actually go and do the actual ranking of them against one another.
Who's on the list? What are these 16 games, you ask? I think we should just jump right into it.
Let's do that. And just to keep things kind of on the even keel, we're just going to introduce them in alphabetical order, starting with the game that you have as the first one.
Our first competitor in the best antique board games from 100 years ago is the game Bridge. I will say this is still a game that gets played all the time. This is a game I grew up with my grandma playing Bridge with her friends all the time. So in my mind, that is a pro for this game, right? The fact that it is still relevant 100 years later. That's not that easy to be around for that long.
Definitely could work in its favor.
Yes.
As we go down the
I
list.
would say a con, though, of Bridge is you have to have 4 players exactly. It's always
exactly.
Yes,
Always
you
4.
have to have, because you have a teammate, and it's like, and it's not a game. Bridge is not a game that you can jump in easily, right? It's like people know Bridge. Bridge is a lifestyle game. That's all we play is Bridge. And if you don't know Bridge, you cannot be my partner.
Oh, I've absolutely seen that happen, yes.
Yeah.
Bridge players can get very, whatever I was going to say. Now, Bridge also has its own unique, specially made decks, right?
Yes.
You can't just go and grab a poker deck of cards. You got to get a Bridge deck.
You do. You got to know what you're doing. You got to be prepared for Bridge. But that also, on some sense, is also a pro for the game because it's seemingly endless enjoyment. I know people that it's like every week we get together and play Bridge and they're never bored of it. And so, you know, there aren't that many games that I could just play every week over and over like that.
So it seems coming right out of the gate, our first competitor, Bridge, has its own set of pros and cons working in its favor and possibly against it.
Yes.
Okay, we are off then to a very interesting start.
Bridge is going to be a strong competitor.
Also interesting, perhaps, for reasons I'll explain, is game number 2, Bunco, which was developed in 1904.
Yes.
And features dice and possibly ghosts. Because in a recent episode, Paula joined me at a trip to the thrift store.
Oh, really?
And we discovered a game of Bunco.
Really?
We found a copy of Bunco, and we're pretty sure it was haunted.
Is that a pro or a con for it? It definitely kept it interesting.
It definitely did.
Yeah.
Also, interesting factoid about Bunco, at least the copy that we had, included not only dice, but also a little bell to ring and a small pillow.
Oh, interesting. It's a little nap time for your finger?
Perhaps.
Like
or the bell, maybe.
Yeah.
Not sure how it enters into it, but it definitely gave Bunco a story to tell.
Sure. I will say, one thing as a con in my mind, though, is the BGG listing for Bunco literally starts, this is an old card game that has nothing to do with the modern dice game. So if you have to lead with, hey, this is not the thing you think it is that is better than the thing that we're talking about right now, not a great start.
Well, that's definitely going to be Bunco's Achilles heel. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's you know what? Everything I just said about it is completely irrelevant.
Because this is a different game of Bunco.
Wonderful. Great.
Yeah. All right, next up, we have the complete Tiddly Winks.
Speaking of games that are not the game you might be familiar with, I just also want to mention real quick that this is a specific complete edition of Tiddly Winks.
This has a bunch of like ways to play it. This has like a bunch of modes. They say there's a target mode where you can be played using a target board and a cup. There's a bowling mode where they literal are little bowling pins that you play with the Tiddly Winks.
Wow, it's like this is probably the earliest example of a game with stretch goals.
Yeah, there's modules in it.
There's modules. Wow.
Which I think is a pro for it, you know?
Could
add
be.
different ways. And also little bowling pins. I'm a sucker for bowling. That feels like a pretty sweet to me. Little bowling pins.
You know what sounds sweet to me?
Huh.
Being polite. Which brings us to our next one. Excuse me! A game of manners for children.
Yeah.
Introduced in 1923, this game includes 12 white question cards and 36 small numbered correct answer chips. All right? And the object of this game is you reveal a premise, a quandary to a child, an ethical dilemma to a child, and they have to decide what to do. For example,
This is just a test for children.
this is just a test for children asking them things like, what does a good boy do when he accompanies grandmother
boy.
to church?
This has a lot of weight behind it.
Oh,
There's
yes.
a lot of
Baggage?
yes, that I feel like that is the right word. This game came with a ruler involved, so if they said the wrong thing, you hit them across the knuckles.
You
I
get the
feel like.
corporal punishment expansion pack.
Yeah. I went to Cotillion when I was a kid, which was all about learning manners and dances, and this feels like too real. This is too close to my childhood for me. All right. Next up, we have, speaking of things that might be too real, the game of time.
Oh my.
Do you always feel like you don't have enough time? Then play the game of time, and that can come to the forefront in your mind. This came out in 1913. You're completing 60 minutes by exact spin, and you're living through a day. There are 24 hours, then a further inner ring of 7 days a week, then the 12 days a month. Do you want to think about your own mortality while you're playing a game? Then check out the game of time.
More than usual.
Yeah.
My research into this game suggested that this was a series of just dials and almost rondelles, but more like dials because rondelles were a little more sophisticated than what this game brought to the table. But it just seemed like a bunch of concentric circles in this game.
All right, the game of time up on the board.
Okay, next up from 1909, we have the heavy hitter, Gin Rummy.
I will say, this is a game I still play.
This is a game that I played growing up like almost every week with my grandmother. And yet to this day, I can still see this hitting the table.
Yep.
Making sets, making runs, playing cards, drawing cards off a pile. Gin Rummy has influenced so many other games.
Yeah, that's very true.
I think Gin Rummy is going to be a contender.
I think it is a strong contender.
Strong contender indeed.
All right, next up, we have a game from the year 1924 called Hickety Pickety. And I will say one pro for this game is the name Hickety Pickety. Boy, is that fun to say. Hickety Pickety. That's just, I just think, I like saying that. I don't even care what the game is about right now. I just want to say Hickety Pickety. I will say, there's nothing like rhyming alliteration in my mind. Do you know this is a real thing. This is not something I'm just making up. There is a name of the year competition every year, and it happens online, and it's real names. And one of my favorites from the name of the year for all time, it didn't even win, was the name Andy Brandy Casagrande.
Wow!
That just makes me laugh. Andy, if you're watching this, please reach out to me. I love your name. As a con for Hickety Pickety, there is not much actual gameplay here. You are assigned 6 little wooden eggs, and then you spin a spinner, and whichever color eggs it points at, that person gets to put their egg in a nest, and whoever gets their eggs out first wins. So it is literally no decision to be made. You're spinning it, and hopefully you get to put your eggs out. So, all the things that were wrong with old games about how there's literally no strategy or decisions, that's what Hickety Pickety is.
You find it
as
mildly
a
ironic
con
that
for
in a game
Hickety
called
Pickety,
Hickety
there
no
is
picking.
Yeah, that is very true.
Gameplay here.
Well, another game with a little bit of baggage here is our next one from 1903, the Landlord's game, which I think
Everybody here probably knows the story.
If you're on YouTube watching videos about board games, you're probably already familiar with the fact that the Landlord's game is a precursor to Monopoly.
That was stolen from her.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of history,
Yeah.
a lot of baggage for this game, but in a way, still influences many of the game shelves in stores today.
And like gamers, we love to kind of poo-poo Monopoly. But I will say, on Monopoly's behalf, it has gotten a lot of people into board games, right? There are a lot of people that have played games because of Monopoly that might not have played games before.
There's also the perfectly viable argument to be made that a lot of people that poo-poo Monopoly are actually not playing it by its actual factual correct rules.
That is true. It is a much quicker game than you think if you play it by the real rules. So, all right, next up, we've got a game from 1915 called Little Shoppers. I mean, I'm a good little shopper. I love going on a shopping spree sometime. And so,
who doesn't?
Yeah, and so this is thematically, you are going on a shopping spree. That is the whole game here, where the number of spaces a piece may move is determined by the color of the space. Landing next to the open end of a store space allows the player to take the product from that store. One of my favorite things too is about how, like, one of the selling points of Little Shoppers is this game includes 24 playing pieces.
Wow!
I know.
A full 2 dozen.
Like that was how you sold games before. You get to be the top hat. You know, like that was just the selling point. It doesn't matter what the game is. There's 24 playing pieces in it. So
well, now let's we jest.
Yes.
But let's be honest. If you want to make a successful Kickstarter campaign that racks in the money, what's the rule? You throw in tons of miniatures.
That's true.
So
you know,
maybe Little Shoppers has more to teach us than we think.
That is a fair point.
We're about halfway through our list of competitors, which means I'm already exhausted. So let's take a short break while I recoup myself to find out who, in part, helped make this episode possible. Hey, this episode about good old games was made possible by a great new game, Naishi. Naishi is a strategic 2-player duel with a twist. Because at the heart of the Japanese imperial court, you'll be expanding your province by obtaining new structures and influential characters, each of which will grow your prestige. From a shared market, players will add cards to either their tableau or directly to their hand. However, the shogun's law is strict, and reorganizing your cards is strictly forbidden. Therefore, the cards you take must remain in the same relative row that they came from. So you'll need to tactically seize crucial opportunities and use your emissaries to obtain and place your cards as efficiently as possible, giving you control of the most prestigious land in Japan. Each card type has its own unique scoring method at the end of the game, and using every single option available to arrange your cards on the table and in your hand will be crucial to victory. Naishi is available right now, so follow the link in this video's description to find it at local game stores and directly from Renegade Game Studios. Well, our trend of little things continues with the 1913 release, Little Wars, which was actually designed by H.G. Wells.
Yeah, famous author H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds.
Will that give it extra clout?
I feel like it does.
Oh,
you know?
okay. So
in my mind it does.
Yeah. H.G. Wells, writer, designer of board games. Is there anything he couldn't do?
Yeah, lived for 100 years. He's not still around, but his game is. I didn't mean to make that so dark.
Accurate.
Yeah, true.
Now, I am not 100% positive, but I believe the colloquial wisdom is that Little Wars is seen by many as being the first modern war game.
Yeah, they even call it on BGG, they call it the first guide to miniature war games.
Miniature war games, yes.
Yeah.
So Little Wars, being designed by H.G. Wells, wasn't just some publicity stunt. It's actual content and meat to this game.
Well, and, you know, I mean, I have respect, even if I don't want to play a game, I have respect for things that helped grow the hobby. And,
absolutely.
And, you know, being the first of a sort of a whole
genre.
Yeah, I would say a whole niche of the board game hobby, wargaming.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, next up, we have the game Pit from 1903. This is another game that you can still find out there today. This is another game that is still played today.
I was shocked to discover that this game is that old.
Yeah, because there's been so many different versions of it over the years and stuff. I do think that it is a funny thing. Again, we were talking about like the player pieces being a selling point. This one, like the box is like, with a bell. Like, ooh, a bell. We've never seen one of those in real life before. A bell.
A bell. Your dreams have come true.
Endless hours of entertainment with a bell. You know? But still like an auction card game that is, you know, full of energy.
Full of people screaming at each other
over
their commodities. Have you played Pit?
I don't think I ever have. It's one that I know about and know of, but I don't think I've ever played it personally.
I've played Pit in a noisy convention environment, which made it even noisier.
Yeah, that seems like a lot.
Yeah, I think 3 out of 4 of the people that played it came away from it with severe hearing damage. I have another surprise for you.
Okay.
Our next contender is a little game you may have heard of called Pogs.
That's from 100 years ago?
1920 to be specific.
Really?
Yes.
I would not have guessed that. I mean, Pogs is like my childhood. You know what I mean? Like that was like 1990s. Pogs got super popular and everybody had their different slammers and we were doing it at recess at school and stuff. Yeah.
Well, in the 1920s, there were a lot of other kids having that exact same experience.
That's wild.
Yes. For those who might not know, Pogs were originally a game played with milk caps, which originated in Hawaii.
Interesting.
And did you know, bonus fact, that the term Pog comes from something I forgot, Pog brand juice.
Oh, I did not know that. No.
I didn't either, apparently, because I had to look it up.
And I have been playing a new game recently by the makers of Dice Throne, which is essentially Dice Throne Pogs. It's called Slam Throne, and you are doing it, and you have asymmetric abilities with your characters, and you have a slammer and you're slamming Pogs and trying to flip them over and do damage to your opponent. So Pogs are making a comeback even now, 100 years later.
105 years later, Pogs is still influencing board games today.
It's wild. Yeah. All right, next up, we have the game Rook, which came out in 1906. Rook is another game that is still actively played today. If you like trick-taking games, Rook was one of the early trick-taking games. You know, games that had trumps and that where you're playing tricks and trying to win tricks. And there are so many of those, but they all started over 100 years ago with Rook.
So the question is Rook still relevant then?
I think so.
I think so,
Even
too.
if it's not being played, there wouldn't be all of these other trick-taking games without Rook.
And like Bridge, there are people I have known in my life that have a weekly Rook night, and that is all they play every time, and they take it very seriously.
And Rook came out 20 years before Bridge, you know? So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, our next game, Poof, is Spoof.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Well,
that
thank
was
you.
fun.
I appreciate that. Spoof interested me when this came across our desk because I had not heard of Spoof, but I've heard of this game.
Okay,
In this
interesting.
game, you have little batons in the center of the table, and you have cards. And you're passing around these cards to each other, just drafting them over and over, trying to get a set or a match or something. And once you get a hand of cards that qualifies, you quietly put your cards
So it's
down.
like spoons. Yeah.
Everyone else starts taking them, and who's ever just so into it that they didn't notice that they don't get a baton, they're out. So
that is wild.
Yep. So Spoof definitely influenced spoons. Maybe they changed it for copyright reasons.
Sure.
But I know
Interesting.
it's influenced other games too. In fact, there is a game from 1997 called Jungle Speed that I've played at Origins with people.
Really?
Yep. We've played this, and it has that really similar vibe to it.
Yeah.
At least the version I played.
That's interesting.
In my memory.
I mean, so many of these games are games that I haven't heard of really before, but you see like how much they influence things that come around later.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Next up on my list that I'm introducing is the game Uncle Wiggily. This came out in 1916. This is actually based on an American writer's children's story character. There was a character called Uncle Wiggily Longears that was in a series of children's books, and then Milton Bradley released games based on that character. And I mean, Uncle Wiggily is fun to say. You know, that is another one that I'm into the name.
Is it as fun to say as Hickety Pickety?
No, it doesn't rhyme, but it's still fun.
It is still fun. Interesting thing about Uncle Wiggily, though, is you can still go buy it.
Can you?
At least as of last year, it was on Barnes & Noble shelves.
What?
Yep. So one of the videos I do is sometimes I go into Barnes & Noble and other stores and I see what's actually in stock at store shelves, and I found and did a little excerpt on Uncle Wiggily.
Wow. Why? They must have.
That's a good question.
They must have the book still in the stores
Probably.
or something like that. That's the only reason I can imagine why the game would still be there.
I guess games based on IP can help lend it some credibility and longevity.
Yeah, that's fair.
Brings us to the last contender on our
Ooh.
list, the wonderful game of Oz, which again is one of the most long-standing games based on an IP.
Yeah?
This one from 1921 is all I know about it.
Well, 1921 would have been before the movie, so yeah, the movie was the 1930s, I think.
So you've read the book.
Yeah.
Now you can watch the movie based on the board game based on the book.
Yeah,
The Wonderful World of Oz. Other little factoid about this is it is based on the Frank L. Baum books, where you make your way from Munchkin Land to the Emerald City through all different lands of Oz. The game board and pieces are based on the original books, as this was well before the classic Oz movie.
And so if you're a big fan of Wicked these days, if you are waiting at the edge of your seat for part 2 of the movie Wicked, go play this to satiate your Wicked hunger beforehand.
Now, is that your capital W Wicked hunger, or was that just your Wicked hungry?
Yeah. Just, I mean, I do have sisters that live in Massachusetts now, so I definitely hear Wicked more often. Yeah.
That's a wicked list, eh?
Yeah.
So there we have it. Our 16 competitors. 16 antique games first published between 1900 and 1925, with the only unpleasant realization being about Bunco. It's not the game I thought it was. And the next step is that we will be back next episode to actually put them head to head. But in the meantime, you can get started ahead of time by letting us know how you think these games are going to fare. What are your top picks?
Put them in the comments. What do you think the contenders are for winning the tournament?
Which one's going to take it all?
Yeah, there's some strong contenders up here. I don't know.
Get your comments posted now, and then we'll compare notes when that episode comes out in just a couple days. Thanks for watching, and we will be back real soon with the big event.